Beloved, the very fabric of the universe is held together by rhythm, and rhythm is nothing but consistency woven into divine order. Every sunrise, without fail, breaks the darkness, not once missing its cue. Every tide, guided by the moon, obeys its eternal pull without hesitation. Even the seasons bow to a law higher than chance. You see, the infinite mind reveals to us over and over that consistency is not merely a human effort, it is the nature of creation itself. And when we align ourselves with this truth, when we force ourselves to be consistent even when the flesh resists, even when the mind falters, even when the old patterns rise up to test us, we place ourselves in rhythm with the very heartbeat of God. Most people drift because they wait for inspiration. They wait to feel motivated, to feel ready, to feel like it is time. But the universe does not wait for readiness. It moves, it breathes, it expands in perfect order, whether or not you are ready. That is why discipline is a holy act, because it commands the mind, the body, and the spirit into alignment with divine law. Consistency is not punishment, it is permission. It is permission for the unseen to become seen, for the invisible to take form, for the promise whispered in the silence of your heart to manifest in the tangible world. When you choose to be consistent, even when you must force it, you are telling the universe, I am reliable, I am faithful, I am trustworthy with the riches and blessings you have stored for me. Think of the gardener. He does not sow one day and vanish the next, expecting fruit from a forgotten soil. He rises, he waters, he tends, he weeds, and he continues whether or not the sprout shows its head. He trusts the law of growth, and so his harvest is certain. The same applies to your dreams, your wealth, your healing, your transformation. You may not see it today, you may not feel it tomorrow, but the invisible roots are spreading every single time you act in faith. Each repetition is a command. Each act of showing up is a seed. Each step forward is a declaration that you are moving by law and not by emotion. Your emotions will betray you. They rise and fall like waves in a storm. But law never wavers. Law does not wake up tired. Law does not say, I don't feel like it today. Law is constant, and when you embody consistency, you become law in motion. This is why some rise and others remain stagnant. Those who force consistency, even in the smallest acts, carve out pathways in the unseen, and eventually the universe has no choice but to conform to their persistence. Understand, consistency is not about speed, nor about grandeur. It is about presence. It is about showing up when excuses whisper seductively in your ear. It is about doing the prayer when the mind says, what difference will it make? It is about practicing gratitude when the evidence seems absent. It is about repeating the affirmation when your bank account screams otherwise. Consistency is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, and it is built one faithful step at a time. When you say you desire wealth, the universe answers. Are you consistent with the vibration of abundance? Or do you collapse into lack when circumstances appear tight? When you say you desire health, the law asks. Are you consistent with thoughts of wholeness? Or do you surrender to the old identity of sickness? When you say you desire love, the infinite questions. Are you consistent with love flowing through you? Or do you retract and shut the door when pain knocks? You cannot fool divine law, for it measures you not by your moments of excitement, but by the rhythm you hold when excitement fades. So yes, force yourself. Force yourself until it becomes second nature, until the act of showing up transforms into the joy of living in alignment. Forcing is not violence against the self. It is an initiation. It is saying to the wandering mind, I am captain now. It is saying to the weak body, you will obey the command of spirit. It is saying to doubt, you may knock, but I will not open. This is the alchemy of transformation. The moment when your consistency engraves new patterns into the field of the infinite. The brain itself rewires with consistency. The cells reorganize themselves to mirror the vibration you hold repeatedly. Science now confirms what the mystics have always declared: repetition creates reality. The thought repeated becomes belief. The action repeated becomes habit. The vibration repeated becomes destiny. This is why the universe does not deliver to the wishful. It delivers to the consistent. Wishing is a spark, but consistency is the flame that keeps burning until the wood catches and the fire roars. Do not be deceived into thinking others are luckier, or that doors open for them by chance. Behind every so-called overnight success is a rhythm that was maintained in the dark, unseen by the crowd. Behind every miraculous healing is a consistency of mind, of faith, of vision. Behind every financial breakthrough is a person who kept planting, kept affirming, kept acting when no one applauded. The universe rewards the faithful, and faithfulness is proven in consistency. If you could see into the invisible, you would witness how every act of consistency builds energy fields around you. Imagine a sphere of light, growing brighter each time you show up, each time you repeat the thought of abundance, each time you speak the word of power. That light expands, and as it grows, it magnetizes the very people, opportunities, and circumstances that harmonize with it. Consistency is not boring, it is magnetic. It is not repetitive, it is creative. Every repetition amplifies your frequency until the world cannot help but respond. Now, there will be resistance. Old patterns will rise. For the subconscious is trained in the language of habit, and it fears change. It will whisper that skipping one day does not matter. It will seduce you with the idea of tomorrow. But you must see these whispers as illusions, as shadows with no substance. For every time you refuse to bow to them, you reclaim dominion. Every time you choose consistency over excuse, you carve a new identity, one that the universe must acknowledge. And here lies the secret. When you force yourself to be consistent long enough, it ceases to feel forced. The very thing you once had to command becomes your second nature, your joy, your rhythm. At first, the musician forces his fingers to move along unfamiliar notes, but soon the music flows without thought. At first, the speaker forces herself to practice the words, but soon they roll off the tongue with grace. At first, you force yourself to rise early, to speak affirmations, to meditate, to focus, but soon it becomes who you are. And once it is who you are, manifestation is inevitable, for the universe always mirrors identity. Do you see, beloved? It is not enough to wish, not enough to dream, not enough to visualize once in a while. You must build the temple brick by brick with consistent acts of faith. The law of momentum is real. A ball set in motion continues unless interrupted. So too your life. Set it in motion through daily alignment, and soon it rolls forward with a force greater than you alone, carried by the energy you have built. This is why you must guard against inconsistency, for inconsistency is interruption. It is starting and stopping, building and destroying, planting and uprooting. Inconsistency sends mixed signals to the universe. Today I want this, tomorrow I am unsure. The universe responds with delay, with confusion, with partial manifestations. But when you are unwavering, when you are relentless, when you show up day after day, heaven and earth move to accommodate you. It is not that some are chosen and others are not. It is not that some are destined while others are overlooked. It is simply this: some align consistently, and others do not. And because the law cannot be broken, those who align reap, and those who waver wait. But you, in this moment, can decide. You can decide to force the rhythm until the rhythm becomes you. You can decide that nothing will move you from your practice, your vision, your faith. And in that decision, you claim the power that reshapes worlds. So hear me: when your body resists, show up. When your mind doubts, show up. When the evidence contradicts, show up. When you feel unworthy, show up. Every act of showing up is a victory, and victories compound. Consistency is the proof of faith, and faith is the currency of miracles. Consistency, beloved, is the very evidence to the universe that you are ready to hold what you seek. Imagine a child demanding a gift, crying one day, forgetting the next, pleading tomorrow, then discarding it again. No parent, no giver of love, would place something precious in such unreliable hands. But when the child shows unwavering desire, when the child proves through constant attention, and care that the gift will be honored. Then the gift is joyfully given. The universe, too, waits for this consistency. It waits to see if you will hold your vibration steady, if you will continue in the face of delay, if you will prove that your faith is not fragile but eternal. Every master, every healer, every visionary you admire has walked this path. They did not arrive where they are by bursts of passion that died out the next day. They arrived because they forced themselves to rise even when tired, to pray even when distracted, to practice even when bored, to act even when unacknowledged. They became consistent, and consistency made them unstoppable. This is why you must not despise the small acts. They are not small, they are sacred. They are bricks in the unseen temple of your destiny. Think of the heartbeat. It does not beat once in passion, and then pause for hours. It does not speed up when excited and stop when discouraged. No, it beats steadily, rhythmically, without fail, and because of this rhythm you live. In the same way, your consistency is the heartbeat of your dreams. If you allow it to beat steadily, the dream breathes. If you let it falter, the dream suffocates. The life of your vision depends on the rhythm you hold. Yes, it will feel hard in the beginning. Yes, you will feel resistance. The flesh craves comfort. The old mind clings to patterns, the ego despises surrender. But the force you apply to be consistent is not wasted energy. It is energy that breaks the inertia of your past. It is energy that cracks the shell of limitation. It is energy that pushes you through the barrier between the known and the unknown. Every forceful step forward is a declaration. I am no longer ruled by what was. I am ruled by what is becoming. And here lies the mystery when you choose consistency. Time itself bends. Momentum gathers. Synchronicities multiply, doors open. What seemed difficult becomes effortless because the universe delights in rhythm. When it sees you move steadily, it harmonizes with you, multiplying your effort, amplifying your vibration, accelerating your manifestation. This is why one day of consistent alignment can outweigh months of wavering intention. The field responds not to intensity alone, but to continuity. So many sabotage themselves by starting and stopping. They ignite the flame, then let it die, ignite again, then let it flicker out. Each time they start over, they must fight the inertia anew. But you, if you persist, will find that momentum begins to carry you. At first, you carry the practice. Later, the practice carries you. At first, you drag yourself into discipline. Later, discipline becomes your joy. The river at first is small, but as it flows, it carves valleys, nourishes lands, and becomes unstoppable. I tell you now, force yourself long enough, and the force will not feel like force. It will transform into flow. The daily choice to show up, to think the higher thought, to speak the word of power, to align with abundance, will cease to feel like labor and will feel like breathing. This is how identity is reborn, not by wishing for change, but by consistently embodying it until the old self dissolves. You may say, but what if I fail one day? Here, this missing one act is not failure, but surrendering to inconsistency is. If you stumble, rise the next day and resume the rhythm. Do not let shame or guilt become the interruption. Even the tide recedes, but it always returns. Even the moon wanes, but it waxes again. Your task is not perfection, it is persistence. Show the universe that your commitment outlasts the fall. When you feel resistance, remember resistance is not the enemy. It is the proof that you are changing. It is the echo of the old self struggling to remain. And the way you dissolve it is through persistence. Each act of consistency is a blow to the walls of limitation, and eventually, the walls crumble. What once felt like chains will feel like wings. Consider your thoughts. A single thought repeated daily becomes a belief. A belief repeated in emotion becomes a vibration. A vibration repeated consistently becomes your state of being. And your state of being is what the universe mirrors back to you. So never underestimate the power of showing up for your thoughts. They are the architects of your destiny. Even if you feel they are small, even if they feel unconvincing at first, repetition engraves them into the field until reality conforms. This is the secret of manifestation. Not that you must do it perfectly, not that you must feel high every time, but that you remain faithful in the act. You align, you speak, you imagine, you believe. Again and again. You hold the rhythm until the rhythm holds you. You hold the vision until the vision holds you. You hold the vibration until the vibration shapes the world around you. Your consistency is not only building your reality, it is sending a signal across time. Every future version of you, radiant and fulfilled, is pulling on you now. That future self is whispering, "Do not quit, for I exist because of your persistence." When you are consistent, you align yourself with the pull of that higher self. And when the pull grows stronger than the resistance, manifestation arrives with the force of inevitability. So let this be your vow: I will not waver. I will not start and stop. I will not let my emotions rule me. I will force myself into rhythm until the rhythm becomes me. For the universe bends not to the one who cries the loudest, nor to the one who wishes the hardest, but to the one who moves consistently, faithfully, relentlessly. Beloved, understand that when you force yourself into consistency, you are not merely training the body, you are instructing the universe. You are saying to the unseen, "I can be trusted with creation. I can be trusted with abundance. I can be trusted with power." For how can the infinite bestow great treasures upon the one who cannot remain steady in the small? Consistency is the proving ground of destiny. It is where the unseen measures your readiness, where the divine law tests your faith, where your vibration is tempered into stability strong enough to hold miracles. Every prayer you repeat, every affirmation you speak, every step you take in alignment is like striking a bell in the invisible. At first, the sound is faint, echoing softly through the ethers. But as you strike it again and again, the resonance grows, reverberating further, shaking realms unseen, calling forth energies yet unformed. And one day, the bell you have struck with your consistency will ring so loudly that the entire universe must respond. Do not despise the days when nothing seems to shift. For even when the soil looks bare, life is stirring beneath. Roots grow in silence before the sprout emerges. The universe honors the unseen persistence before it reveals the visible breakthrough. So, when you feel discouraged, when you are tempted to abandon the path, remember this: consistency is the silent miracle maker. It is the force that works behind the curtain until the curtain is pulled back. And what is the alternative? To live by impulse, by fleeting inspiration, by moods that rise and fall like tides. Such a life is unstable, tossed about by every wind. Such a life never builds enough energy to create lasting change. Inconsistency is like scattering seeds in the wind. Some may fall, but few take root. Consistency is like planting in rows, watering daily, waiting patiently, until the field blossoms with abundance. Let me speak to the science within your soul, for the body itself reveals the truth of consistency. Your neurons fire together when a thought is repeated. The more you repeat it, the stronger the connection becomes. The stronger the connection, the easier it is to think that thought, until it becomes your default. This is how beliefs are born. Not from one thought, but from a thought repeated consistently. And your beliefs, whether of abundance or lack, whether of health or sickness, whether of power or weakness, become the fabric of your reality. Do you see why the universe insists on consistency? Because it is through repetition that your vibration stabilizes. A scattered vibration produces scattered results. A steady vibration produces steady manifestations. This is not punishment, it is the mercy of law. It ensures that your fleeting doubts do not immediately undo your desires. It ensures that only what you truly persist in believing can become real. The universe is not cruel, it is precise. It responds to consistency because consistency is the language of creation. You may say, "But I do not feel powerful when I repeat my affirmations. I do not feel certain when I visualize." Beloved, feeling is not the beginning, it is the fruit. At first, you may feel nothing, but each act is planting a seed. Each repetition is watering the soil. Each moment of forcing yourself to continue is removing the weeds of doubt. The harvest of emotion will come, but only after the persistence of practice. Faith is not born in fireworks, it is built in consistency. Think of the river. It does not cut through rock because it is strong in a single burst. It cuts through rock because it is consistent, flowing day after day, year after year, until stone itself yields. Your obstacles, your limitations, your patterns, they are the rocks. Your consistency is the river. Flow long enough, and even the hardest stone will surrender. And oh, the joy that comes when consistency shifts from effort to embodiment. One day, you will look back and realize the thing you once forced has become who you are. You will no longer say, "I am trying to be disciplined," for discipline will be your nature. You will no longer say, "I am forcing myself to be abundant," for abundance will flow from you like breath. This is the metamorphosis consistency births. The old self dissolves, and the new self emerges, forged in the fire of persistence. But beware the voice that tells you consistency is too hard. That voice belongs to the past, to the ego that fears transformation, to the comfort zone that resists evolution. It will tell you to rest just for today, to delay just one more time, to break your rhythm because it will not matter. But every broken rhythm weakens the momentum, and momentum is sacred. Guard it as you would guard treasure. For once momentum builds, it carries you with ease. But once broken, you must summon energy anew to begin again. So let this be your command: force the body when it resists, train the mind when it wanders, anchor the spirit when it drifts. Do it not once, not twice, but every day, until your life itself becomes a testimony of divine rhythm. The universe will bow to the one who refuses to stop, to the one who chooses consistency over comfort, to the one who forces the flesh until the spirit reigns. Hear me. Every act of consistency is building a new destiny. Every time you refuse to quit, you are declaring, "I am greater than my excuses, greater than my emotions, greater than my past." And the universe, hearing this declaration, arranges itself to honor your words. For the law cannot resist the one who is faithful. The law must bend to the one who holds the rhythm, because rhythm is the signature of creation itself. Beloved, let us go even deeper into the mystery of this divine rhythm. For consistency is not only the key to your personal transformation, it is the very language by which the universe understands your intentions. Imagine for a moment that every thought you think, every act you repeat, every choice you make, is like sending a signal into the field of infinite intelligence. If your signals are erratic, one day loud with faith, the next day silent in doubt, how can the universe distinguish what you truly desire? But when your signal is steady, when your vibration is unbroken, when your faith is practiced daily with unwavering devotion, then the message is clear. The universe says, "This soul has chosen. This soul is committed. This soul is ready." And the field aligns itself to reflect back that consistency in the form of manifestation. This is why you must force yourself at times. Not because you are weak, not because you lack worthiness, but because the human mind and body are trained by years of inconsistency. They are accustomed to fleeting whims and passing moods. To rise above this, you must become deliberate. You must train the body like a servant, not a master. You must teach the mind that it will follow spirit, not fear. You must remind the heart that love is not an emotion that visits occasionally, but a force that remains steady. This training may feel like struggle at first, but it is sacred work, the work of creating alignment with the eternal. You see, beloved, the universe is a mirror. It does not reward what you wish for in moments of passion, it rewards what you embody consistently. If you consistently dwell in lack, the mirror reflects lack. If you consistently dwell in abundance, even when appearances deny it, the mirror reflects abundance. If you consistently choose gratitude, joy, vision, and faith, the mirror cannot resist. It must reveal those choices back to you. This is not superstition, it is law. Law is exact, impartial, and unfailing. Consider the artist who practices daily. At first, the brush feels awkward. the lines unsteady, the colors confusing. Yet the artist continues, day after day, until the hand obeys the vision, until the brush becomes an extension of the soul, until what once felt forced becomes natural expression. So it is with every practice of your higher self. At first, you may force the meditation, force the affirmations, force the stillness, force the visualization. But as you persist, the forcing dissolves and expression emerges. You become the living embodiment of what you once strained to create. This is why your greatest enemy is not failure, but inconsistency. Failure is a single event. Inconsistency is a pattern that erodes destiny. You can recover from failure with another step forward, but inconsistency prevents momentum, and momentum is the chariot of miracles. With momentum, even small acts compound into greatness. Without it, even grand gestures fade into nothing. So you must be ruthless with inconsistency. You must look it in the eye and say, "You will not rob me of my destiny. I will force myself if I must, until consistency becomes my very nature." And let me reveal a greater mystery. The field of infinite intelligence responds not only to your actions, but to the energy behind them. When you force yourself to show up despite resistance, the field does not see struggle. It sees power. It sees commitment. It sees faith that rises above circumstance. The field respects such power, and it bends to it. Do not think that forcing yourself is weakness, it is strength. It is the sacred fire that burns away laziness, procrastination, and doubt. It is the force that cracks open the old shell, so that the new self may emerge. Now hear me, for this truth will set you free. Consistency is not about what you do occasionally. It is about what you repeat until the repetition becomes identity. A wealthy identity is not built by one affirmation, but by affirmations repeated until wealth is felt as reality. A healthy identity is not built by one decision, but by decisions repeated until health becomes natural. A powerful identity is not built by one act of courage, but by courage repeated until fear no longer has a place. Who you are is shaped not by single moments but by steady rhythms. And you, beloved, have the power to create those rhythms by force, until they flow on their own. Do not underestimate the sacredness of small acts. Rising each day to speak your vision aloud, even when no one hears, is holy. Sitting in silence to align your thoughts, even when distractions roar, is holy. Choosing gratitude over complaint, again and again, is holy. These small, consistent acts are the threads that weave together the garment of your destiny. And one day, when the garment is complete, you will wear it with ease, and others will look upon you and call it miraculous. But you will know, it was consistency that wove it, one faithful thread at a time. And oh, beloved, how the universe delights in rhythm. Look at the stars. They rise and set without fail. Look at the ocean. It ebbs and flows in perfect order. Look at your breath. It enters and leaves in steady cadence. You are surrounded by examples of consistency, because creation itself is sustained by rhythm. When you live consistently, you are not fighting against your nature, you are aligning with it. You are harmonizing with the universal song. And when you do, life itself begins to sing with you. But let us go further still, into the realm of telepathy, into the whispers of the unseen. When you remain consistent in thought, your signal in the field strengthens. Others who are aligned with your vibration begin to sense it. Doors open through connections you could not have planned. Messages come through dreams, through signs, through synchronicities. This is not coincidence. This is the universe responding to the rhythm you have created. Consistency does not only shape your inner world, it rearranges the outer. It speaks to people, places, and opportunities in ways beyond logic, and they respond to your call. So when you feel wary, when you wonder if your acts matter, remember this: every consistent thought is a beacon. Every consistent word is a command. Every consistent act is a prayer. And prayers repeated with faith move mountains, for they do not fade into the ether. They accumulate, they amplify, they demand response. Beloved, imagine consistency as a great drumbeat, steady and unyielding, echoing through eternity. Each time you show up for your vision, you strike that drum, and its vibration travels far beyond what the human ear can hear. At first, the sound may seem faint, as though nothing responds. But the more you strike, the stronger the rhythm becomes, until all of life begins to dance to your beat. This is how consistency shapes reality. It creates a rhythm so steady that the universe cannot ignore it. You may not realize it, but every consistent act rewires the very structure of your being. Your brain is like clay, pliable and moldable, and with repetition you carve new pathways of thought. Each time you choose to think abundance instead of lack, gratitude instead of complaint, possibility instead of defeat, you strengthen those neural circuits. Over time, they become highways of thought, and the old patterns fall into disuse, until they dissolve completely. This is not imagination. This is science meeting spirit. Consistency literally reshapes the mind into alignment with the vision you hold. But it is not only the mind that transforms. Your energy field changes as well. Imagine your aura as a field of light, pulsing with the frequency of your dominant vibration. Inconsistency makes this light flicker, dim and unstable. But consistency strengthens it, makes it shine steadily, makes it magnetic. Others can feel it, even if they cannot explain why. Opportunities are drawn to it. Synchronicities multiply. Life itself begins to lean in your direction, because your frequency is unwavering. This is why some people seem to, or attract, blessings effortlessly. They have aligned their energy through consistent vibration. Yet many fall into the trap of believing consistency is dull, repetitive, or lifeless. Nothing could be further from the truth. Consistency is not monotony, it is mastery. A musician does not become brilliant by playing a song once, but by practicing daily, until the music flows from the soul. An athlete does not become powerful by training, when inspired, but by showing up when no one watches. A mystic does not become radiant by meditating once in a while, but by entering silence faithfully, day after day, until the silence itself begins to speak. Consistency is not the enemy of creativity, it is the womb that gives birth to it. And when you force yourself, beloved, do not mistake it for punishment. Forcing yourself into consistency is not cruelty. It is liberation. It is the declaration that you are no longer a slave to moods, distractions, or fleeting desires. It is the act of reclaiming dominion, of saying, I am greater than my impulses. I am governed by vision, not by circumstance. At first, it may feel heavy, but as you persist, that weight becomes wings. The very thing you once dragged yourself to do will one day lift you higher than you dreamed possible. Now consider the invisible ledger of the universe. Every act of consistency is recorded. Nothing is lost, nothing wasted. Every meditation, every affirmation, every disciplined choice adds to the sum. And when the balance is full, the breakthrough arrives, not as chance, but as the inevitable result of your persistence. This is why breakthroughs often appear sudden, as though overnight. But they are not sudden. They are the visible harvest of invisible consistency. Do not be deceived by appearances. The farmer does not see fruit for many months. Yet each day he waters and tends, trusting the unseen. So too with you. Your manifestation may not yet appear, but the energy is building, the roots are spreading, the vibration is stabilizing. To quit now would be like abandoning the field just before harvest. Force yourself to continue, and you will live to taste the fruit. Think also of momentum, for momentum is the secret ally of the consistent soul. At first, it feels difficult to begin, like pushing a heavy wheel. But with each push, the wheel gathers speed, until one day it rolls with ease, carrying you forward with little effort. This is the reward of consistency. What once demanded force becomes effortless, because momentum takes over. But inconsistency robs you of momentum. Each time you stop, you must begin again, expending energy anew. This is why you must guard your rhythm as sacred. Even small acts daily will preserve momentum better than bursts, followed by absence. And what of faith? Faith itself is strengthened through consistency. To affirm abundance once is to plant a seed, to affirm it daily is to grow roots. To visualize health once is to glimpse possibility. To visualize it daily is to embody certainty. To practice gratitude once is to feel joy momentarily. To practice it daily is to transform your entire perception. Faith matures through repetition. What you repeat, you believe. What you believe, you live. What you live, you manifest. Let us also speak of telepathy, for when your consistency is strong, your signal in the field becomes undeniable. Others begin to think of you without knowing why. Opportunities are drawn as if by invisible cords. People feel compelled to help you, to connect you, to bless you. This is not manipulation, it is resonance. Consistency makes your energy so steady that it harmonizes with those aligned to your path. In this way, the universe uses people, places, and circumstances to deliver the harvest of your persistence. So, beloved, let me tell you this truth. The world does not belong to the most talented, the most gifted, or even the most intelligent. It belongs to the most consistent. Talent without consistency withers. Inspiration without consistency fades. But average ability, when joined with relentless persistence, creates miracles. This is the power you hold, the power to show up again and again, until heaven and earth bend to your rhythm. Therefore, when doubt rises, when fatigue whispers, when the old self protests, remember who you are. You are not a slave to chance. You are not at the mercy of moods. You are a divine creator, endowed with the power of rhythm, able to align with the very heartbeat of the universe. And every time you force yourself to remain consistent, you step deeper into that divine role. You step into mastery. You step into destiny.